I really love to cook fish for dinner because it takes like no time at all to cook. It's super, super fast. Today, I'm gonna make a super delicious halibut dish. Cook fennel and tomatoes, you put some halibut on top. Before you know it, you have dinner. Fantastic. So cut 1.5 pounds of halibut into 8 pieces. This is a skinless, boneless halibut fillet. Such a good piece of fish. I love halibut. You can certainly buy it this way, of course, but I'm a little bit of a control freak and like to do it myself. Set that fish aside, get rid of that board, and then cut up the fennel. I actually want to save the fronds. They're really nice for garnish and they taste really good. Have you ever tried fennel before? It's got a really sweet anisey flavor. It's really crunchy, but it gets nice and soft and fragrant when you cook it. You're really gonna like it. I highly recommend you try it. So the first thing you want to do, well, the first thing I'm gonna do is start off by cooking the fennel a little bit of oil, and then the fennel can go right in there and you just let it start softening up. Season with a little bit of salt. So I have 4 large tomatoes that are gonna get diced and added in here to make the base to cook the fish on. Tomato and fennel is a very classic combination of flavors, and they go really, really nicely together. Just 1 clove of garlic. I have a tendency to like a lot of garlic when I'm cooking it. Don't tell anyone, but I'm gonna use 2 cloves. Once that's minced up, the tomatoes, 4 large tomatoes, diced. Doesn't have to be too exact because it's gonna cook down into a sauce in the pan with that fennel. Now I can dice them. I've been waiting all this time to dice. Oh, Sarah. I think from now on I'm just gonna talk about myself in the 3rd person all the time. What do you think? Is that as amusing to you as it is to Sarah? Probably not, right? I amuse myself way more than I amuse anybody else. That's the truth. Many tomatoey lives in a watery grave. So just add the garlic and let it cook for, I don't know, 30 seconds, just until it's fragrant. The fennel is really translucent now. You can see that. See, I'm waiting. Is it fragrant? Now I smell fennel and garlic, so it's time to add the tomatoes. Add your tomatoes. I had actually a little bit too much tomato, so I didn't add quite all of it. The pan was very full. Turn the heat up to high, season it with salt, and then let it cook down a little bit before you add the fish. And while you're waiting, you can make some couscous. I'm making enough couscous today for today and for another dish later in the week. I have 2 cups of boiling water and I'm gonna make 2 cups of couscous. Because all you need to do is bring water to a boil, add couscous, cover it, and sit for 5 minutes and it's done. It's barely cooked. Pre-cooked. Cover it, turn it off, let that sit for about 5 minutes. It'll steam into fluffy perfection. This is getting nice and juicy, so it's time to add the fish. I just want to make sure that I season my fish before I add it. Season with salt and pepper. Just place the fish on top of your simmering tomatoes, and then you cover it and cook it for about 8 minutes, and it cooks through, and it's so nice. This needs a couple more minutes. The couscous is done. All you need to do is fluff it with a fork, and it separates into really nice, delightful fluffiness. I'm just gonna save a little bit of this for later in the week, and then the rest is for tonight. Put it into a little container. Just set that aside. Let it cool off and then put it in the fridge. Now we can serve up our fish. Look how beautiful that is. The tomatoes have cooked down into a sauce, so fragrant. Fish is beautiful and white. It's gonna taste kind of like bouillabaisse. Have you ever had bouillabaisse? But this is much simpler. Now I can serve it. Just a little bit of couscous in the bottom of a bowl, and then some of that delicious fish and tomatoes and broth on top. I love 15-minute dinners. Don't you? Saves more time to hang out with your family and enjoy yourself. Just as delicious as if you were in a restaurant, just as beautiful too. A little bit of drizzle of olive oil and you are good to go. It's fantastic, delicious, light, and it took 15 minutes.